Hello, and welcome to Autobahn. I'm your host Roger Walker, and I'm here to talk about one of the world's greatest manufacturers, Ferrari. Enzo Ferrari made a name for himself after he joined the Alfa Romeo racing team in the 1920s. By the 1930s, he was building race engines for the team. It was on these cars that the famous prancing horse first appeared, the Cavallino Rampante. He then started his own racing team, Scuderia Ferrari. In 1947, he decided he would make sports cars to fund his racing team. Over the years, there have been many great cars: the 250 GTO, the 275 GTB4, the Dino, the Daytona, the 38 GTB, the 288 GTO, the F40, the F355, the Enzo, the 430 Scuderia, and more recently the 599 GTO and the 458 Italia. It's time for our first road test. The first car, 328 GTB. Well, from a young age, I always wanted to own a Ferrari. You know, it's a typical boy's dream, and finally in 1987 I got enough money together to buy the most basic car, the so-called entry-level 328, and it was just magic for a few weeks. I went to the factory, the car was delivered at Maranello. They take you on a tour of the factory, starting with the foundry and then going through all the components, the engine manufacturing, which is an amazing experience. The Ferrari factory is probably one of the few car factories in the world where almost all the parts for the car are made on the site. So they give you the foreplay of going through the factory, and then you're finally taken to the birth suite, and there's your car, you know. Anyway, so I drove the car with a friend all the way through to Maranello concessionaires on the Egham bypass in London, where I was immediately offered a £10,000 over-the-top cost to sell the car because the waiting list in the UK is so long. I declined because, you know, this is my last dream. And so here we are 22 years later. It's no longer a baby, it's actually past 10,000 Ks, and therefore it's an adolescent at this stage. Because the car's like a sports shoe. As soon as you go past the car in front, the response is instantaneous. You know, it's quite a hard car to drive because the gearbox is very unforgiving. The car's quite light. It's, you know, by modern supercar standards, it's not a very powerful engine. It's got no power steering. It's got no funny bits, cruise controls or sport mode or anything. It's just a raw beast that you have to, like a pet, that you have to bond with. The performance is adequate. I mean, especially on New Zealand roads. The acceleration and the braking's fantastic. And there's a whole lot of power that you just can't use. I just personally love the sound of the engine. I do have a radio, but I never turn it on because I really enjoy the engine. You can never find stations around the middle of the North Island anyway, so whereas the engine's a constant thing. The steering is very direct. Because the engine's in the back, there's no weight on the front, so power steering's not an issue. You do pay a bit of a penalty when you're sort of manoeuvring into car parking spaces and such, because the tyres are quite wide. You also have to wear Italian shoes, or I wear Pumas. There's an advertisement. The reason for that is that this footwell is quite narrow, because the front tyre's wide, because of the central bay here. There's only a limited amount of space in which these three pedals can be located, and you know, it's very bad news if you hit the brake and the accelerator at the same time. A lot of kids at petrol stations say, "How fast does it go, man?" And I say, well, I have hit it up to 260 Ks. Of course, that was on a closed road. And but it is the speedo goes up to 280. It will keep pulling. The engine is the heart of any Ferrari. The engine can be a kitten at idle, or it can be a raging tiger. When you're getting up near the red line, which is 7,800 RPM. So incredibly flexible engine. It'll even let you go down through the gears to almost idle speed without sort of choking and spluttering. The V8, you know, some people say it's the perfectly balanced engine. It's symmetrical on both sides. The engine was designed by a guy called Colombo many years ago, who was a mate of Ferrari's. They haven't really changed the basic format since that time. Fuel injection, you don't get the problems you have with carburetors which sort of clog up, and I keep synthetic oil in the car which doesn't grow mould. It likes the best quality fuels, and it repays, you know, your attention. It's probably quite a hard car to get in and out of, but once you're in here you're kind of settled, and I'm really happy with this car. It's the 328, which this model is. Superseded the 308, which is the Magnum VI car. It's got apparently 200 different parts, but superficially looks the same, but it's actually got more sort of skirting and more bodywork closer to the road. Well, a lot of people say that owning a Ferrari is like having a mistress. She sits patiently in the garage, waits for you, and then you do your thing, and then you come back and switch her off, and that's perfect. And she doesn't even mind you going into other people's garages. And, you know, it's not really a joke in my case, because I have gone through 2 marriages in the time that I've owned this car. So maybe the car was a threat to the wives after all. And it is such, because it's Italian, it is a combination of passion and amore, you know, you do have a love affair with the car. So even in 100 years' time, when public transport is compulsory, these cars will be looked at as a nostalgic item. I hope you enjoyed tonight's show. Goodbye till next time.